Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh. Ahoy, crypto pirates! Welcome to your Discourse Syndicate's FN Hangout. I am the captain, your captain, RG3, bringing it to you one more Friday night. Thank you, all of you who are here. For those of you who are here, either you need to get a life because it's Friday night, or congratulations on taking a break or trying to change your life in some way for the better instead of going out there degenning all weekend and starting early on a Friday. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you, my Hexican friends. Now, remember, for those of you who may be new, this is your stream. Oh, we're having bad hair. We always have bad hair. And these glasses. Wait a minute. I think, wait, the captain's got new glasses here. Let me see. I went out and got some new specs. So let's see if these distinguish me a little bit more. These are my Mr. 3s. How's that? I see better too. These are my Mr. 3 specs. So, yes, these are nice. Clean. You can see good. I like them. Am I distinguished now? Is this good enough for those of you out there in the crypto spaces that are looking for us to be a little more mature and well-spoken and all that good stuff? Anyway, crypto compassion. What's happening, bro? I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat room. The original Hex swimmer, RG3, come on back to your most favorite state, Texas. I just lost it. Hold on. Favorite state, Texas, like all the other enlightened Californians. Look, man, I'm glad my state has a lot of exodus going on. And I definitely do appreciate the Tejas. Yes. Why? First of all, you may not know this, but Texas is a Caddo word for friend. Hey, Shah. And I'm Caddo. That's my tribal affiliation. I am a Caddo of a different clan, but I am Caddo. There's a bunch of clans. I'm one of them. And Texas is one of our words. We used to own most of it. Us and the Apaches, the other side of my family. But anyway, thank you. Yes, California is my place. I'm sorry. I like it here. To me, it's paradise. I know how to live here. I know how to survive here. I know how to go to the places I like and live in the places I like. So, hey, it's good for me. Price I pay for living in paradise is my call. What happened to Gary? Been awful quiet through this run. No, Gary was in Spaces. He actually joined our space today when we did the NFT drop for the Axis token, which is called don't try and hint me, SJ. I know it is. It's not financial advice. There we go. Not financial advice. What an amazing, that was cool. We had a little issue with our first free token drop, but we're getting that worked out and ironed out. We know the ins and outs of it now, so we will get it taken care of next time. So for those of you who were there and seen the snafu, we'll fix it, and you're going to get your token dropped to you, or your NFTs dropped to you. So Gary's around. Magic Carpet Ride, what's happening? Hey, good to see you. D'Artagnan, what's up, my bro? What's the link to the stream? Oh, well, let me post that. If SJ hasn't already done so, I will throw it in there for you. So there's a link, D'Artagnan. Robert, what's up with you, bro? Great stuff on TikTok. You're doing some freaking good work, man. We're looking like we're getting shadow banned, so we're gonna have to figure that one out. We talked a little bit last night about it. We'll check that out and find out what's going on. TikTok. Let's see. Sandy Beach. Oh, my lady. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All of us on our best behavior. Let's see. Who else is in here? Melv Tony, as always, loyal to the core, or has zero life at all. Zero life, because he is always here supporting us. So he is either like one of the greatest Hexicans of all time, never missing a stream, always being here, and always providing service to the stream by making our chat room functional and brings us numbers of the tokens that we all love so much. Thank you, Melv Tony. Get a life, or thank you so much. Let's see. Dorsey. What's up, Dorsey? Dorsey's with us. And to the other scallywags, he says, pay me Hex. Yo, I'm back. Let's go. Hey, welcome to the bull run. Welcome to the bull run. Let me be the first to welcome you to the bull run. We are here, and yes, we're back. Some of us never went anywhere, but yes, we're back. We're back. Check out our latest NFT, is what the PulseChain tour is saying. Hey, we got the PulseChain tour in here with us. Let's see who else. Crypto Heartbeat. We have celebrities in the house, folks. Crypto Heartbeat. If you haven't seen his channel, you need to go over there. If you want sound information, that's where it's at, right there. Crypto Heartbeat, always throwing it down and doing the community service for sure. Trap, my man Trap's in here. Let the bands play. That's Trap's. Go watch his stream, and you can see the musical interest that he has and what he's doing in crypto. He's trying to bring adoption through another way, and we're rooting him on and hopefully helping him out. Doherty says, "Oh shit, Trap's here." And he's got a wrench and he ain't afraid to use it. Swearworks, what's up, dude? What is up? Tune always brings back great memories. Oh, it doesn't it? I love the intro to the FN Hangout. It just fires me up on a Friday night. Let's see. Crypto Harvest says, I like it much better when we're all just getting along. Yes. Chad Donner Swans, we're reaching levels of black previously not thought possible. No, these are levels that we've memed about a long time ago, but we are going to reach levels previously not thought about. Mark my words. We are going there. It is going. The money that's moving into crypto and moving around crypto right now is insane. The pumps that we're seeing are little pumps for ant. This is just the priming of the pump, guys. It hasn't even gotten started yet. Hexican American, so many moderators, none getting through that wall. Yeah, we've got a lot of moderators in here. We have got a lot of, yeah. No, there's some private chat going on in the background. What's up, Kool-Aid? Everyone about to run to get dinner. Listen, everyone. Okay, we'll see you when you get back, buddy. All right. Let's see. Elizabeth Barnley dumping all my hex at 10 cents. Too traumatized from the last crash. Ooh, that's gonna be a big mistake. Let's just mark this one right here. Don't do it at 10 cents, Eliza. Don't do it. Not financial advice, but sound Hexican crypto advice. You see it go to 10 cents? I'd back off away from that button if I were you. But hey, you can sell your hex if you want. I'm never leaving my mom's basement. Meatloaf's too good. Nice. I wouldn't either if I had good meatloaf. Empty Corner, thanks for being a member for 18 months. That's I think that's a record. Nice shirt cap. Oh yeah, did you guys see it? Let me show that. Let me show it off. This is the brand new Captain RG3's PulseChain Live World Tour. Boom, boom, boom. Better than Bitcoin. Better than Bitcoin. Okay. The back of this shirt, is empty. It's a blank canvas. And that's for you. That's for you out there, sponsors who'd like to end up on the back of this shirt for the rest of the tour, and you want to help and contribute and be part of the tour, we're going to be putting something together so that we can put some like NASCAR freaking PulseChain project logos on the back of it. Yes. Oh, let's see. Susie Q. Hey, welcome, Susie Q. How you doing? Who else is here? And Urban Productions. You full white stop. Captain, you full white stop. You full white stop. You full white stop. I don't know. Am I trying to say something? I'm sorry. I don't get it. Let's see. It's a socialist utopia. Oh, my little buddy Briss. What's happening, buddy? How you doing? No boo-boos today? You good? Okay. Well, maybe we'll get a little Bitcoin talking here today or something. Or maybe we'll talk shit coins and really get you upset. Or never mind. Let's see. I'm here hoping for drama, lol. Into God in you2 God Plankton. Yeah, no drama today. I get a little sick of drama. I got too much going on in my life. I don't need it. Hey, Toby Wan. So my life is getting hard, guys. This whole retirement thing and trying to do the, crypto, what do you call it? The crypto wealth syndrome or whatever. I don't know. So I got a big problem here. So, and I don't endorse this company or whatever, but I've so I quit coffee for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And then on the tour, I started like banging espressos again. Like I was out at this real nice dinner and it was like an Italian thing. And it was like, would you like an espresso, Mr. 3? And of course I took the espresso and I was like, and man, it was so nice. It was so good. And so I've got, my biggest hex flex was I bought this beautiful coffee machine. Beautiful. This insane top of the line espresso maker. And I wasn't drinking anymore. My wife and the kids, they drink the coffee. I wasn't. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a shot of espresso every day. That's how I'm going to treat myself. So I've turned into kind of a espresso snob. And I started looking at, different items and beans and ways to grind and brew your coffee. So I went to these guys, Icape, right? And they got all this really cool stuff, like really nice espresso shit that goes with your maker. And guys, I am very upset this week. I've had a hard time because they didn't send me the right device. This is the wrong filter basket. I am pissed. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with the wrong portafilter? So I called these guys and it really messed up my whole day. Messed up my week. I was expecting to get in there and brew me some espresso for this evening for a Friday. And I got the wrong portafilter. Trouble, problems, issues. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm looking, I'm sorry. I'm reading see, that's the problem. I can't read the private chats and do the show and read the chats at the same time. It's too much for one captain to handle. Dory's been a member for 17 months. Thank you. Sandy Beach member for 17 months. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all of it. So anyway, I'm going down to the bottom here and so that I can get the show started so we can bring people in. Brissology, one last thing here. Life is getting tough. Don't know how hard it is to make my own coffee. Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to. Especially when you're expecting that, something about a good espresso. There's not too many pleasures in life I get anymore, but that's one of them. And I've really been having a hard time with this 48 to 51 millimeter issue that they've created for me. At least they sent me out a new one and they're trying to make it right. So I can't say anything bad about them yet. The problem is that their the machine I have, the DeLonghi machine I have, is the model that they have a special portafilter for, not the regular pleb versions of their DeLonghi machine. I have the other version, so they've had to send me a special filter. So my fault too, because I didn't specify. They just had on their thing DeLonghi, and I thought it was a DeLonghi. But anyway, they're going to send me the proper 51 millimeter portafilter for my machine, and everything will be fine in the world. But until then, I'm going to have issues. All right, everybody, thanks for coming. I'm going to start bringing everybody up. First, I'm going to bring D'Artagnan up because he's been there waiting for a long time. You there, bro?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's the sound quality?
It's about a 7. I'll give it a 7.
What about now?
It's about a 7.5.
Oh no! I have a history of just having fucked up mics.
It's not too bad. It's like probably like a gaming mic or something. It's a little better than a gaming mic, somewhere around there. But
that's
exactly
the same jokes they had for me back in 2021. that I was using my little brother's gaming mic.
Well, I didn't know if it was yours or your little brother's, but
Well, I hope all is well with you, Captain. And
it is, except for my espresso issue. I'm doing good.
Espresso issue?
Yeah, my espresso issue. They sent me the wrong portafilter, man. The wrong.
Oh, so what happens with that? I'm sorry, because I kind of just like I faded out. So basically, you can't get your coffee grinded exactly how you want it.
So yeah, well, I can grind a coffee. Now, there's different grinders, different reasons you grind a certain way for different beans or whatever, and then of course you have to prepare the grinds, and there's a whole process before you tamp the portafilter. But the portafilter, this is what's called a bottomless portafilter. So most portafilters have a little thing on the bottom that sends the coffee out, and these are bottomless, so it just kind of all oozes out of it. The pressure
Gotcha.
oozes the coffee. So it comes out really very creamy and oily, and just makes it taste perfect. This is called a bottomless filter. Well, the problem is this is an aftermarket company. They make them for multiple different types of machines, and the prongs on this one here don't fit my specific special machine. So I am SOL until they send me the right portafilter.
How do you like your coffee?
Well, I like a double shot of espresso with a little bit of whipped cream. I like the whipped cream on top of there. Campana, they say they say a doppio campana. I call it a dubio campana, but whatever. It's just that's what you order at the Starbucks. You got to say that, or else like you got to say a grande or a venti or whatever. You got to be like coffee snobby with your stuff. So but yeah, I like a double shot of espresso with a little bit of whipped cream on it.
You know what's so funny? Long story short, so I had this one coworker of mine a year ago, and he never had Starbucks in his life. He was just used to just corner store, bodega, Dunkin' Donuts. So I told him, hey, I'm gonna buy you breakfast. What do you want? Oh, just coffee, a regular sandwich, whatnot. I made sure I went to Starbucks and got him the top of the line coffee. And that bitch costs about like what, $8,
$8 or something, yeah.
Yeah, in New York City especially. I literally witnessed him taking the sip, and he looked at the cup, and then he looked at me and he said, "Wow, this coffee will like revive the dead." And I'm like, yeah. So you understand. So yeah. I mean, there's a reason why there's long lines going around the block for fucking Starbucks. But I personally
is better than Starbucks.
Stop. Who's the name brand do you use? Come on.
No,
let us know.
Fucking lie. No, I get my beans, but like I belong to some bean clubs. Like I get beans, like special beans at certain times, special
Gotcha.
blends, special,
Gotcha.
and a lot of people don't know that, the darker the bean, the less strength of the coffee, the lighter the bean, the more strength in the coffee. And so there's all these different types of bean roasts and whatnot. But it's really not, that's the main part, is getting the right beans. And then there's the grind and the tamp, how it's all prepped before you tamp it, and that's where it's important. And that's where you make a good cup of coffee. And then the vessel it sits in is also important. So I
like that. The vessel. Go ahead.
The vessel. It's not a coffee cup, it's a vessel. Now, my vessels are made out of blown glass, that the inside and the outside are separated between a section of air, so that you don't get the heat of the cup on your hands. You hold the cup and the coffee sits in the vessel inside of the outer vessel. And there's a barrier in between, keeps everything, you can have it as hot as you want in the cup and all that. And it keeps it at a certain temperature level longer. So my vessels are important too. So I've become quite a coffee snob.
An enthusiast is what you are.
There you go, an enthusiast. And I'm a coffee enthusiast.
In my world, it will be a vineyard. So take that for what.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't touch the alcohol. The captain is allergic. We all know that. I break out in handcuffs when I drink, so I have to stay away from the vineyards and the all of that stuff. So anyway, all right, we've got some more Hexicans coming. Let me bring them up. We've got my man, Crypto Compassion. What's happening, my brother? And
what's up, brother?
Let's see. We got DG here. What's up, DG? Hey, you're on mute, so unmute yourself first.
DG Compassion, good evening. Hope all is well.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, guys. How we doing?
We're doing
Happy
great.
to be here. So,
oh yeah,
I just wanted to pop up with a pertinent question, RG.
Yes.
So, in a chat, it came up about eHex, right? So, someone said, "Why would RH buy eHex?" Obviously, with regards to everything that's been going on. And my question back to them, my response to them was, more importantly, the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't he be buying eHex? So I wanted to come in here to ask you, sir, your opinion on that.
So I remember when this issue first kind of arose, when Richard was still streaming and speaking to the community about, PulseChain and the 2 hexes and what was coming. And I remember him saying specifically this: I want Hex to be expensive on both chains. And he said lots of other look, Richard's almost like, I guess, like the Bible. Like, you can go in and pick things out that he said opposite of what he said in different contexts. So he's having a conversation in context, and he'll say something, and you can say, well, Richard said this, or Richard said that. But I do remember in the context of how he said it was, hey, I don't want Hex anywhere to be bad. And he's never said, I want Ethereum to fail. He's always said PulseChain is here to help bolster Ethereum. And we all know that eventually Ethereum is going to have to unfuck itself. And eventually it will. And probably as this bull run starts going, because, hey, guys, Ethereum is moving like crazy OTC trades right now. OTC on Ethereum is off the chain over the last week. So that's telling me we're going to start seeing Bitcoin altcoin moves again. Bitcoin. So here's the cycle, guys. Bitcoin cools off, Ethereum cools off, altcoins go nuts. Altcoins go dead. Bitcoin pumps again. Ethereum stays cool. Ethereum pumps, Bitcoin cools off. Ethereum pumps, altcoins go nuts. Some altcoins get wrecked. Boom, 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 boom. Back, same cycle all through the bull run. That's how it cycles. That's what it does. If you haven't watched it, go back and look at the charts. You chart readers, go back and look at it. That's how this moves. Okay. So what are we getting ready to see? Well, we saw Bitcoin move to 64K. Boom, cooled down, back down to 60, 61K. Wow, cooled to 61K before the halvening. What are we in for, guys? What are we in for? Ethereum starts moving. Where are we at? 35, 3,600 bucks for Ethereum? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What happens then? Wow, RH coins start moving. Things start pumping. Everyone's talking about how PHEX is moving up. But guess what? EHEX just kept right up with it. Right up with it. 31, 32% move, 34% move on PHEX. It still moved, period. And the word was, and I don't know, and I hate people saying this, Richard's buying. I don't know if Richard's buying. Whatever's buying is buying over here on PHEX. I don't look at the wallets that close. I'm not watching them. All I know is that somebody bridged money over and started buying PHEX. And, you know, that pumped the price. But guess what? EHEX kept right up with it, percentage-wise. So it's staying with it. Now, why? Maybe it's correlated. Maybe it's just as exciting to everybody as PHEX. I'm not sure. But I think that this is what we're going to constantly see. I keep hearing the EHEX is dead thing. I'm never going to buy that narrative. The value of HEX is what HEX does. It does the same thing on both chains. On one chain, it's a little more expensive than the other. On one chain, it's going to be a little more popular than the other once people find out what HEX is. Because people aren't going to want to come over to PulseChain first. They're going to want to be buying it on Ethereum. Because if crypto's coming in, if new people are coming in, that's the chain that has the value. That's the chain that everyone's used to. And whether like it or not, whether I think PulseChain is better or not, cheaper or not, that's what's going to happen. That's just the facts. People are going to go to Ethereum HEX and use Ethereum HEX. And HEX is going to get so rare, so scarce that it disappears and people are going to stand. I keep telling people this. I've been saying this for years. HEX is going to become so rare once people realize what staking does. Once people understand the real value of staking, the institutions see the real value of staking. Remember, we've got new institutional money looking at this space. We've got Fidelities. We've got BlackRocks. The biggest money houses in the world are now looking at crypto. When they see a yield tool like HEX, they're going to grab the shit out of it. People are going to start utilizing this DeFi space and what HEX is. When it disappears, people are standing in line waiting for stakes to come out. They're going to buy it up on both sides. And what is that going to do to the price? Now, if people are waiting in line to buy your HEX that they can't get a hold of because it's all gone, guys, there's only 6 or 7% of the circulating supply of HEX out there available. That's it. 6 or 7% of the tokens are available. When that's realized, when the staking benefits are realized, boom, HEX goes to the moon. It gets so expensive, people can't even, find a price on it because they're going to be waiting in line to get it. People don't realize how high the price of the thing can go.
See, this is one of the things that I talk to people about, I don't fully understand, but understand more from certainly listening to yourself, is that once, let's say, institutional money comes into the DeFi or crypto space, they will see with the way that the whole global financial system is shifting towards blockchain, that they will see that something like HEX is like literally one of the best stores of value if used correctly, which most people don't, because we're still in that kind of degen, super degen crypto market right now. And trust me, I know all about that. Like we're still in that super degen phase before it starts to move into that more commercial phase where crypto blockchain is basically how all finance works. And that's kind of how I saw it, is like smart money will see something like Hex and see, this is actually a real good store of value when we use it the correct way. Am I right in thinking that's kind of how my mind.
I think so. Hold on, let me see.
The code doesn't lie. The code does not lie, and it's been proven.
For 4 years, it's proven itself.
Yeah, for 4 years. And by the time they come in, it's going to be, 6 or 7 years of track record of code not lying.
Trusting code.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. Let's bring in our little buddy Briss. Look at that eagle.
What's up, guys?
I know.
What's going on?
Why do you say little buddy? Little buddy. I'm your big buddy.
Yeah, you're my big buddy. You're my big buddy.
What's up,
hey, Cap.
I was out here looking out for you.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you real quick because I have been very lazy to look this up myself, and I could easily do it, but whatever. So you mean to tell me that the Hex supply of tokens is more scarce compared to PLS, PLSX? Is that correct?
Wait. You said, is the Hex supply, you said?
So the Hex tokens are more
scarce.
Yeah. Wait. It's 650 billion to, I couldn't even tell you how many of Pulse and PulseX there are.
With that said,
30 trillion.
Trillions, yeah.
With that said, gentlemen, everybody on this panel, with that said, what does that mean as far as scarcity and as far as which one has the bigger they could just basically just go up in price quicker? Because I was in I'm in the Pulse trading chat group on Telegram, and we are debating which tokens in the RH ecosystem can actually snap to the upside much quicker than the others. So
I mean, I mean, the thing is, the way I see it with Hex is it's like a long-term play. I mean, is that not what the whole 5555 thing's about? It's the more long-term play, and it's now a cycle 2 coin. It's kind of established now. Well, it will be once it pumps again. It's on Ethereum. Whereas PulseX, Inc., which I find the whole Inc. thing hilarious. Like, I'm loving watching how people flip their narrative on Inc. recently. And I will give a shout out to actually Briz on this when it comes to Inc., because he was very bullish very early on when it came to Inc. So shout out to that man. So it's been funny to hear their narrative flip, but when it comes to Hex, like, that is the long-term financial play. Like, when you solid long-term financial play, everything else is more speculative in my eyes.
But when you're looking for snap movements, you want to look at liquidity. You want to look at, how fast can the value of one of these tokens go up, and what are the whales doing? Are they removing liquidity from that pair and making it even thinner and more viable to snap even higher? Those are the things you got to watch for. If you're looking to find value soon, those types of things are what you're looking for. Like, it doesn't matter what token's better, or what token you think may be better, or what token has the least amount of supply. It's what is the liquidity over there doing? And if a whale came in and bought up a bunch of it, how fast would the price move up on that? And is that something you're looking to do? Or are you really thinking, like we are all supposed to be thinking, this is a long game? Get in, watch for price dips, DCA yourself in, stake yourself out, prepare yourself for your exit. your exit needs to be, you have to know why and when you're going to exit. I think anybody investing in crypto or getting into crypto needs to look at their exit point, because we talk about buying and hodling and all this other crap, but we hardly ever talk about an exit point. When are we going to exit? How? Why? What's that going to look like for us? I knew right off the bat what I wanted. I had a 3-year horizon where I was going to stake out and build a ladder. And 3 years from then, I was going to start cashing in. I thought 3 years was plenty enough fucking time to give to start taking profits. So that's what I set myself up for, was a 3-year time horizon. And I started removing stakes. But of course, a lot changed since then. And I have other things going on. I have validating going on. I have liquidity providing positions going on. So there's a lot of different elements now that have made my decision to stake the way I did even more lucrative, because now I don't have to touch those. There's other things that can, provide income, provide, what I need. And so, and then of course, learning as time goes on how to be a more benevolent holder of all of these tokens by being in the system properly, by providing liquidity versus exiting with market sells, which I will never understand why some of these people are doing that. But everybody has to do their own thing. Everybody's got to do their own thing, and it wrecks them. It helps the person trying to DCA in, of course, when the price drops. So, we can't complain. It's 6 on one hand, half a dozen on the other. At one point, it hurts, but in to another person, it's a blessing, right? Like somebody who's waiting for these penny numbers, they're DCAing and they're happy with it. Those people that were, wanting the price to stay up at 12 to 20 to 30 cents and not so much, right? So it's give and take here, and you've just got to position yourself right and how you want to exit. So the exit is important. Figuring out your exit is important, and then working yourself to that exit and doing the right things and staking properly before it. Hey, let me bring up Toby Wan, everybody. Toby Wan, one of the OG freaking wiser, more sound voices of the community.
What's going on?
I try to be reasonable. How's it going, guys?
Good evening.
How's your coffee evening going? Did you get some good coffee tonight?
I had some coffee earlier. I've got I was curious what you had. I've got a Juro Caprezzo, super automatic.
Yes.
Toby,
you don't have to tamp your
this
own.
week, and we're making it up on the
I have a cake.
Right.
I have a DeLonghi Especialista Maestro.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, good coffee.
Yeah.
That's a requirement, because I also don't drink. I have broken out in handcuffs as well in my life.
Wow.
So it's the simpler things now, like coffee, that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah. Stizzy asked, drip streamed or pressed? So there's a few different things, there's
Coffee
the grind
chat
is,
with
like I said, the grind's important. So you gotta spritz your beans before they're grind them either with a flat or conical. I'm not sure what grinder you like best or whatever. I prefer flat grind, but either way, then taking care and preparing the grind afterwards is important, and making sure, and then the tamp, making sure you have your tamp set right. And then of course, clearing the top after, and then brewing. That's we lost Brisson. He's back. Hold on.
Oh,
I just meant to turn off my
Back like a
avatar for a
barbie.
second.
I thought you went to check your coffee machine.
Cap. What? I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Here's the coffee I drink.
Colombian.
The Insta.
Baby.
What I wanted to ask you was, Captain, what year was it that you initiated your coffee enthusiasm?
like 6 months ago, literally.
Right after he got his coffee enema. Changed to
I've tried those.
Yes.
I've tried those. I've tried those. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I got my coffee machine. I was doing like retail arbitrage before it was cool. And
I
I
love
actually
it.
found a coffee machine, and I had done the math, right? Because my fiance at the time, she was like, what are you talking about spending, $1,000 on a coffee machine? It's insane. I'm like,
Oh my
you
God.
go to Starbucks at least once a day. I go to Starbucks once a day. Let's do the math. This thing's going to pay for itself. Like in 6 months, it's a no brainer. So I convince her, to get off my back about it. And I find a used one on eBay. So I buy it, and it comes with the receipt from Williams and Sonoma, who has a lifetime, at this point, had a lifetime guarantee on everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I get the machine, I turn it on, immediately I've got water all over my countertop. I'm like, fuck. So I get a hold of the guy. He's super nice. And he goes, you can totally send it back. He goes, but I've got the receipt with it. So you can literally just take it to Williams and Sonoma and get you a new one. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to Williams and Sonoma, and they don't have that model anymore. And I was super bummed out. And it was like, I paid the guy, I think like $800 for it, and knew they were like $1,500 or something, I think. And so I asked him, I'm like, well, do you have something else? And she goes, well, we've got these other units. And I look off to the right, and on the clearance table underneath it is the machine I'm looking for. I'm like, wait a minute. I said, that's the one right there. And she goes, oh, I forgot about those. And there were two. So I just got the one. I put it up on the counter. She rings it up, and she goes, well, you got a $1,500 credit, which I only paid $800 for. And she goes, that leaves you with $1,150. Is there anything else you'd like? I'm like, wait, what? And she goes, yeah, they're on clearance, so they're only $350. So my math brain kicks in. And I'm like, hey, I said, I'm going to go ahead and take that one too. Do you have any more in the back? So she had 2 more in the back. So I buy 4 of them, and I put them on eBay, and I'm selling them for like $1,000+ a pop. They're brand new in the box. Then I called every Williams and Sonoma in the country. My apartment was stacked with coffee maker boxes. My fiance thought I'd lost my mind, but I sold them all. And I ended up making I think I netted a profit of like almost $6,000 or something. And I ended up with a machine for myself for free. So I'm like, all right, free coffee.
Kobe
I love it.
is
And
the
that,
reason
man, that thing
RG3
lasted forever.
has
I
to pay
literally, that was
$3,000 for a
15 years
machine.
ago. Oh, those are Pimp Daddy. Those are,
So that's my machine right
ones.
there.
That's nice. That's nice.
It's,
Yeah, that's where you
this
tamp
is
your own coffee beans and grind your own and stuff. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I have a whole separate station for tamping. I don't use the tamping station on this. I used to use it. And I used to use the grinder and everything. Now I've got a whole different station, on the side of that I use. But
yeah, it's a rabbit hole, dude. And you
Yeah,
got the
and,
frother on the side for the lattes and stuff.
it gives you, it gives you the counts of the grinds and everything. This is a great entry level coffee snob machine right here. It shows you the pressures that you need to reach, and it shows you how to get your grind right so you can reach those pressures. But
Nice.
there's another level to it.
Grind right, baby.
Yeah, there's some crazy expensive machines out there. I mean, that one's not cheap. I looked at those, but it's like the one I had finally died just about a year ago.
Machine.
Yeah, and so I mean, but still not cheap. But there's some that are like crazy expensive. Like if you really want to go super elitist,
six G's off of coffee machines. You guys are incredible. I admire you guys. I'm not just saying that. I admire you guys. I've never heard a story like this. I've heard of this off of motorcycles, used cars, not off of coffee machines. Coffee machines. Yeah, go ahead.
Retail arbitrage, bro. Retail arbitrage. You buy something cheap and you turn around and sell it for a profit. It's a big deal now. I mean, there's like I saw some YouTube videos a while ago, and there were people that were going to like Walmart, and they would have like stuff that was on clearance, and they would scan it, and they would find out what it was selling for on eBay or on Amazon. And then it would immediately, as soon as they bought it, it would upload it to their account for sale. So they would buy something for like $15. It's on clearance, and they'd have it listed on Amazon or eBay within minutes for $50. So before they ever left the store, they've got it listed for sale. So it's like, there's people out there hustling and grinding, but I just stumbled into it before it was an industry.
Crypto pirates freaking playing the arbitrage game. That's what it is.
Right.
We know that
arbitrage
game.
Good shit.
Yeah.
So we can have good coffee in Vegas.
What's that?
Oh, look who it is.
Good coffee in Vegas.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We will. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the star-studded actor of the Hexican community, our buddy, your mom. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? How are you guys tonight?
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see
you guys.
Dude,
the last
you're not
the last time I saw him was in
somewhere.
Vegas.
What'd you say?
I said the last time I saw you was in Vegas.
Oh, you was talking to RG. What'd you say, RG?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're not bent over working somewhere.
So, best thing on this planet, I came just for 1 second. I don't want to dominate the conversation. I want to give a quick tour. I quit all my side hustles. My main business is scaled so much that I can just focus on that. I don't do anything besides acting. And then I run this acting studio that I just wanted to really quick. Everything I worked so hard. That's RG saw streams of me like grocery stacking and shit. I didn't sell any crypto, but I like this camera right here is this Canon R5C, which is a Netflix approved camera. All, the
Wow,
stuff
beautiful.
over here. Yeah. So then like even when I'm over here, I can like pull focus.
How many screens you got there? How many screens?
Dude, all the screens. I'm trying to provide the best possible facility for these actors out here. So
Are those
Beautiful.
on a folding table?
I
Are
love
there
it.
like $10,000 of computers on a folding table?
no, dude, see this? It's got a leverage and a crank.
Okay.
Premium stuff.
I thought that was like an outside like lunch table.
No, I just wanted to hop on a second just to show like this space I'm literally paying so much of what all of you guys have taught me, like starting 2-3 years ago before I'd ever invested. I'm paying all those principles forward of like goods and services are everything, and the rest is accounting, and all that. So I just want to say thank you. And then RG, I had to touch base with you because we had mentioned about meeting up in Vegas and stuff. I have good news, but also bad news. I have to bail out on that trip because I booked a project. It's a Hollywood adage of like book a trip, you book a job. Yeah. So, but I am going to be, and I'll maybe reconvene with you and stuff, but I'll be out on the West Coast for like maybe a month and a half. So
That's
maybe we can hang
okay.
out.
That's okay. Our actors and our tattoo artists have left us in the dust, but hey, we're good, man. We're good.
Nice.
You funny.
We lost our tattoo artist for the same reason. He's like, man, I got so much work coming up, and I just got to catch up with it, and feeds the family. And hey, no, you guys, this is second. Crypto is secondary to your life and your work and your family and all that stuff. Be sure to take care of those things. Don't be spending your crypto or your money on things that you don't need to do. I don't quit your jobs too soon. Don't try and live off of crypto too soon. Don't think that you're going to be a YouTuber or a meme coin founder and become super, super wealthy. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't. Most people, you think that look at how many lottery winners lose their money. And look at who's lost their money in crypto. All of them.
Damn.
So
Exactly.
Tyler,
That's why you need to sign up for my OnlyFans.
Hey,
You're going to hell.
if I ever am in a tight time, you know how many people have asked me, hey, can you do my OnlyFans stuff? I've said no, but I'm saying there's a market for it.
Yo, you guys are
God.
fucking funny. You guys are hilarious.
Kyler, I'm proud of you, my brother. I'm proud of you. We've talked a lot on your journey of taking care of yourself and getting things up and running. I'm so proud of you, from stocking shelves and working in weed shops and everything else, man. You've done a great job, and congratulations on being full time on your thing at such an age. You're going to go places, my brother. You're going to go places.
Thanks. Now back to you. Yeah, I don't want to. I was send flowers your way, but thanks for those flowers as well. And I also just wanted to say, if Funding Jim is watching this at all and stuff, he made a very generous donation to this studio, and I was able to pay it forward and already capitalize on that investment that he gave, and it meant the world. So thank you guys for everything. I'm gonna just hang out now and shut up.
We're proud of you. Good shit.
see you,
We're
bro.
proud of you.
Hey, D'Artagnan, I wanted to mention earlier when you asked about the supply of Hex, you got to remember half the supply went to the sacrifice address, and Richard implied that the OA does not sell Hex from the sacrifice address.
I'm glad he brought this up. So I'm gonna throw the ball back to RG3. RG3, these conversations are being had in the Pulse Trading on Telegram. We're debating which horse is going to be the fastest one in the race, whether it's going to be PLS.
No.
Well, hold on.
I would shudder.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would shudder to try and have to figure that out or answer that, because what's gonna happen more than likely is we're going to see this. We're going to see EHEX pump over PHEX, then we're going to see PHEX pump over EHEX. You're going to see it move back and forth, and one may run for a while longer, and then it'll get to a point where it's the supply is so limited and the staking is getting so high that people are going to go, uh-oh, the supply is dwindling. The staking is almost staked all the way out. The rewards are getting less over here than they are over here because people are staking out for 15 years, blah, 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 starting to see the real value in it. And then boom, you'll see the other ones start to move. There's going to be, there's going to be no winner. There's going to be movement back and forth. And one day EHEX will overtake PHEX. And so you see people right now that are actually high-fiving. Yeah, EHEX is dead. Yeah, PHEX is taking over. Well, they're going to be sadly mistaken because eventually it's going to crisscross back and forth. Now, I love both of them, period. Why? Because I got equal amount of both on each side. Actually, I got a little more EHEX now, I think, because at the bottom there.
Because you're a rich elitist who can pay the gas fees.
I had to scoop it up, when it was really, really low there. It was like, it's too good of a deal.
Let's remember, Hex was created with all the pumpamental elements within it, correct? PLS was only created to make it more affordable to buy Hex. So Richard did not really have PLS in mind. It was only because the gas fees were so high on ETH that he said, okay, guys, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and create another network. It wasn't like he was
in my
dreaming.
opinion, it's in everyone's best interest that PLS stays very cheap.
No, but I'm not arguing about that. Of course, it's more affordable on the PLS side.
See, what I love is from the very early days, as soon as I was able to, like I'm deep within the DGen community and try to educate them a little bit better. No, like a little bit of history in me. When PulseChain launched, all I had was DGen to build my bags. That's all I'll say in that. But people criticized me for farming, like especially like PulseX, farming that liquidity pool. Like, oh, the ratios and the way they move. And I said, all I could say to people was, I'm not fussed because I know they're both gonna move up. Do you know what I mean? And I know, or sorry, I don't know, but I'm sure that those ratios will balance out to a degree and to a point. And I'll keep an eye on them. And if they move really badly, like way, way further down the line, like I'm not talking about watching those ratios right now. I don't care about that. I'm just farming and have been farming ink. Haven't sold a single penny of ink from the moment I started farming them. Like they're all going to move up together. Like, so,
I believe so.
It's like for me, especially the PulseX farm, which is one of the lower percentage payouts. It's like, for me, it's the lowest risk. And that's what I said to people. I'll put all of my shit into that farm and just farm ink because they're just going to do this. And then at some point, PulseX is going to go at some point, but not anytime soon because of buy and burn, obviously. At some point, PulseX is going to go in price.
I like that. I like
that.
I
have an analogy.
Hold up real quick, everybody. Hold on 1 second. Somebody's been waiting in the green room. All right, everybody. Load the cannons. We got Funding Jim here. Oh,
hey!
Nice.
There he is.
What's going on, Mr. World Traveler? Shit, I admire your motherfucking Instagram and Twitter. Shit. Every time I see you, I click like automatically. I don't even read your shit. I just click.
Yeah,
like
I always
automatically.
D'Artagnan, he's high energy and he's been around for many, many years supporting just about everybody. So thanks for that, D'Artagnan.
I appreciate you more.
So I got an analogy I was thinking about earlier between the difference between PHEX and EHEX. And it's basically like we're all jumping off this giant bridge, right? And we're all having fun, just leaping into the water. And you got all the old guys that have been here since the beginning, like me and RG3 and Toby and stuff. And then you got all the new guys who are coming in because maybe they heard about PulseChain and stuff like that, and now they want to get some exposure to Hex. But now they're buying the eHex, which has this gigantic like weight over its neck with these gas fees. And here I am telling you guys, hey man, eHex has this really dark thing holding it back. Like there's a reason why the pulse chain was invented, and everyone's like, Briz, just let the kids jump off the bridge. Quit telling them how to jump. But I'm like, no, this bridge is really high, and if you dive into the water, you're gonna break your neck. All right. So that is why you should buy PHEX over EHEX. It's just a better.
So
Yeah,
push back to that, and I think you guys have been streaming for a while, so maybe you've already covered these topics. But it's not like it hasn't been going on for more than a year. The EHEX, PHEX, like speculating about what's going to happen when the launch. What was the reason that PulseChain was developed and waited for, and all those kinds of things. Like Briz has been around just about as long as everybody, if not as long as everybody, right? So he's been here forever. And I see the comments. Sometimes I feel like I want to push back. Sometimes I'm just like, just let people speculate. Almost everyone would agree that Richard had 10 years of retirement. I think 5 years he said that he was playing video games constantly, addictively, and his favorite games were the ones where you had to think what you need in the future, and farm those resources or create those resources for, I think it was StarCraft or something like that.
RTS, real-time strategy.
Yeah. So like I heard right when I came into the room, or at least a few seconds before I even found the stream was going, was the PulseChain was made because of the gas fees, and that Richard didn't anticipate that the gas fees would be prohibitive to the future growth of Hex. Now, I'll agree that he updates his worldview, and I think all of us should. And he's had his position about Bitcoin maximalism, but while he was a maximalist, he often made comments about all the other crypto he would experiment with, and all the other bags that he had, including famously IOTA and how the wallet was compromised and all these other things. So it's not like he was in a bubble only believing in Bitcoin. He was playing with everything, because he commented, maybe just for shit talking purposes, about what was good and what was bad compared to Bitcoin. The idea that Richard, for close to 2 years, developed Hex, launched Hex, saw Hex grow within the first year and a half, and suddenly decided that an L1 was needed, or maybe a DEX was a good idea. I think that's naive, and I'm not trying to say that in an insulting way. When I had dinner with him in Zurich, his comment was that he thought that Uniswap was as comparable, if not the same, as the invention of Bitcoin. That he thought that Uniswap was incredible. Now, this was after a couple of years of it existing and Hex having its run, and the community and all the different forms of validation that we seek as human beings. And Richard seeks validation. He seeks validation through numbers and saying, I won this StarCraft game, or how many man years. He's commented about how many man years he's played that game, basically for a badge, right? An NFT. And then later, playing this game in his way in the crypto realm. I don't think he had the validation that he knows his bags, but he's very private about like what are his bags. So he doesn't announce all over Twitter and do screenshots about what he holds, but he certainly wants the appreciation for mastering the game. And I don't believe that that suddenly in this guy's brain came the idea of an L1. Bitcoin's an L1, Ethereum's an L1, other things are trying to be Ethereum killers. Hex is a protocol that rewards more Hex on a network that he was dependent on. Sure, I'll give that part. And the best place to launch it in consideration wasn't Bitcoin, which was his favorite network. It was the capability of Ethereum.
Real quick, funny Jim, I got a question.
Gas fees alone were
Are you saying
why this came
didn't
about.
invent
Not true. I don't believe that
Hex
at all.
for PulseChain, or he had PulseChain all along?
See,
I believe personally, and it's just opinion, that he always thought that an L1 was going to be in queue, in line. And I think that the S load 12x and all the, the fact that it calculates on a daily basis what the reward payout should be and all those things like that, that may have accelerated, and it may have said, okay, here's a way to do the things that we saw happen, which was any ERC20 could be committed, any L1 could be committed as the sacrifice and all that narrative. So I think he saw more game possible. But the idea to think that, and again, I'm not trying to say that people should buy one or the other, but I don't think that the idea of let's sacrifice the brand or the history or the charts that are all referenced by Richard, he's not just showing only what happens on PulseChain. It's still nascent. And as example, whether it's Richard or Greg the Duck or African Priest, somebody is still moving $300 or $400 million worth of DAI on a network that is not PulseChain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So whether you want to say that there's game theory behind the ROI ever being deployed as a slow siphon from Ethereum value over to show proof of value on PulseChain, that's all future speculation. But the idea that you throw away the brand by saying this Siamese twin is evil and let's kill it is
I love it. I love it.
So
See, again, I
to-
would just
to
like to
kind of-
say something coming from deep within the degen community, even on Ethereum before PulseChain, is that like yes, I understand the gas fees thing, but you have to understand on Ethereum, 90% of people don't give a fuck about that. Like the amount of money that is involved in Ethereum, they don't really care about the gas fees. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of money.
Were
that
you
is
here
driven
during the
on
last
that
bull
side.
run?
What's that?
Were you here in the 2021 bull run?
Yeah, towards the end of it, yeah. That's when
I was
into
complaining a
crypto.
lot, and I heard a lot of people.
Yeah, I know you
complaining
were, but I
about
was
the
in the
gas
degen
fees.
community and they didn't give a shit about gas fees. They really didn't care.
That's why
because they're
called
buying lottery
degenerate.
tickets.
well, there was people paying $1 million for a JPEG.
Yeah, exactly. My point is the kind of money that is on the Ethereum side doesn't really care. Do you know what I mean?
But
It's
the problem
not that PulseChain and the cheap fees isn't like an attraction. I'm just saying that like there's so many people that.
But
that
DG, here's the problem: that me and my friends only have $150 a week to invest, and if it costs $40 to make a swap, and then
trust me,
$80 to do anything,
you're preaching to the converted.
So again,
when I was DJing on Ethereum, it was like literally I can only afford to put money into this thing, and if it doesn't work, then I'm fucked. Basically, do you know what I mean? And that's when gas fees were cheap. My point is like the money over there is like it's like a different thing, and that's why the EHEX argument pisses me off a bit. It's because people don't realize when real money comes into something, they're not that fussed about $100, $200, even $300 here and there. Like they don't fucking care. They don't care. That's nothing to them. And that's the kind of money that you want to see and probably will come into eHex, especially when RH smashes the
I
SE.
100% disagree. I think we want not the big guys coming in. We want as many little guys as possible, and the little guys is who the gas fees affect the most.
Not on the eHex side.
So I disagree with that,
eHex
Briz.
side.
I disagree with that, Briz, because
Which
what's
part?
on Twitter is not what happens with the little guy putting $150 in. Nobody's making tweets about my $150 moved the price. They're making tweets about Godwell, about BankX, about OA. They're making tweets about what actually moves the chart because it moves the sentiment. It moves the narrative. Yeah, it'd be great to have 1 million people put $150 in. What is that? That's $150 million, right? 1 million people putting $150 in is less than what moved in the past day or two just from the OA.
Yeah, but that's the reason why it's so much better. The sell pressure is dispersed. Those guys are holding on to their positions a lot longer than the guy that threw in $100 million and only needs a 2x to dump on our heads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
on
very hard.
Ethereum, it's a
That's
different
not
thing.
what's happening.
That's not what happens, man. The
That's
chart
not what-
teleports when a whale
Very
moves. The
different
chart
thing.
doesn't move when one person moves.
Yeah.
Like, I
And-
mean,
and the
like,
degen
again,
space-
speaking.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me speak. The degen space is literally guys buying lottery tickets. They don't care about the fees. They're throwing their $150 in, and they're hoping to get out in the next month with a 2x, 3x, 4x, whatever. That's there's a lot of different nuances here, but you got to look at the macro economics of all of this. You got to look at the macro picture of this. We're talking about little semantics and things, and all of these things are true. Everybody's saying things that are true here, but they're not what's really going to make the big moves. You know, big moves are going to be whole market cycles, whole bull runs, whole bear markets, and what happens to those bull runs and bear markets as the chart starts to move up and to the right, as the systems start to equalize or cool down a little bit. Like, I mean, we saw a 98% dip. That was harsh, and a long 98% dip. So to say that any one of these things caused or is going to cause the next moon or whatever, I think is disingenuous for us to even try and say it's one or the other. I think it's going to be a mixture of all of it. And again, you have to position yourself properly within the market, and your risk tolerance and your portfolio tolerance, and make sure you're doing the right thing for yourself. And that's what everybody needs to look at. Because if you look at one person or try and listen to one person's idea of this, you're going to end up getting yourself wrecked.
Here's what happens to a Gen X boomer, which I think I am. I know I am. Okay. So I've made posts over this past few days about like AOL when I was 23 was the first social media, right? For me in the 90s, right? So honestly, Hedron's too complex for me. HSI is too complex for me. NFT markets for HSI is too complex for me when it gets explained. Communists, I know that there's been a lot of stuff about communists and it may be wonderful, but it's too complex for me. Johnny Sachs explains it well, I'm sure. Too complex for me. But like to say, choose Maxi, Lucky, Trio, choose communists, but make sure it's only the PulseChain version because you don't want to get fucked by fees. Make sure that you don't do the Hedron that's on the wrong chain. When I'm making this tweet advertising Hedron, I've got to be in nuance in the tweet, which route the person has to go to make sure they're on the right chain. And it's the same thing when we talk about Hex or eHex. When we say, go here because staking fees are too high on Ethereum. Okay, great. We're all Ethereans. Up until May of this last year, we all were Ethereans. Everyone in this room, every single one of us. We used Ethereum because it was Hex or because of whatever things that were not PulseChain. And then when that chain came alive, yeah, I'm frustrated with and have been for the sabotage, I think, that happened of the liquidity bonding, whether it was going to work, whether it wasn't, whether it's going to be parity, whether it wasn't. We talked for 2 fucking years before this chain came alive. And then a lot of this community kumbaya went away because there was this big rift. Suddenly, the fees were too expensive. Wasn't talking about it in April of 23 when this chain was about to launch, right? Wasn't talking about it then. Talked about it when positioning could happen. So I'm frustrated over that side of it. And I think that feeds some of this leftover narrative. But the complication of explaining to people, we talk about how to put money into blockchain. Go do this step first, this step next, so that you can even participate. And then on top of that, we're going to talk the brand of Hex, but not that Hex, this Hex.
100%.
Hedron,
I have an instinct right now. It's going to cost me $500.
There's a lot of stuff
that's
that's
expensive. I don't care about my $500.
I'm not saying that you don't care about it, but Richard put a lot of time into, and Kyle Dev and all the other developers that put a time into what Hex product is. And you know what it has is it has this counterbalance system, right? The APY changes. So what? There's fewer people that stake because a lot of people, since this chain came alive, they don't stake. They don't stake long-term on Ethereum because the same sentiment that's in this program right now. It's expensive when you unstake. Look at 1 or 2 years down the road. And that is counting on, this is very, very similar to me to the peak oil thing that I heard in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. That we're never going to have more oil. Cars all have to shrink. We all have to only commute 5 miles because we're going to run out of oil. And dude, that's like 40 fucking years ago. Peak oil is the same thing. We invent ways around the expense. We either get more efficient cars, we find out how to frack, we do all kinds of stuff to get energy. And I don't think that Ethereum's going away. Maybe it is. Maybe a couple years away from now, 10 years from now, maybe 3 weeks from now, who fucking knows? But to think that they're not going to invent or shard or figure out some technology that allows not just Hex to survive, but everything on Ethereum to survive. You think we're the only community that has high gas costs on a popular chain? And I've said this for a long time, whether it's true or not, I don't fucking know. I don't think the PulseChain is the last horizontal scaling of Ethereum technology. I think that when years down the road, when PulseChain gets expensive, either it'll have to innovate or it will horizontally scale, possibly by the same founder, possibly by the same community. So like the idea that there's only going to be one and we have to, kill this child so the other twin can live, I don't get behind it. I don't think it's worthwhile. Sure, other people can say.
I want to address that point. You guys are always lying about the P-Hex position, the pro P-Hexers. You guys are always saying you guys are asking to kill E-Hex. Trust me, say, no one is saying E-Hex is going to die.
Say. That's what you and Asdeep and Motley have said.
No, I mean, like,
no, we haven't. E-Hex will not die.
I can speak from
specifically when we tried to buy out Guy. He said we wanted to die.
Should migrate.
Hold up, Briss. Shut the fuck up for a second. Let him finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was Gary not talking for the last 15 minutes?
Well, let him finish, and then he'll let you speak. But it's you guys talking over each other isn't gonna freaking.
Speak from a broke pleb position.
The thing is that Briss and I aren't going to settle it. There's market makers now. People are buying. They're staking. I staked over 100 grand worth of E-Hex within the past 3 months.
And then there's arguments like this, and this is what I want to tell everybody about the time frame. So it's funny when P-Hex moves, the P-Hexers dunk on everybody. When E-Hex move, the E-Hexers dunk on everybody, and that's what's ridiculous and stupid. They're both moving back and forth. Like this guy just here, who's one of the people that supports the channel and is helping us, says, "Hey, stop coping. The OA has decided not a single SAC dollars bought E-Hex today." As of today, when it does buy, then what do we say? Oh, wait. And then those people go away. So today everybody's got a narrative because something happened. So now hindsight's 2020, right? This is supposed to be said before it happens, not after it happens. So quit dunking on everybody. Everybody needs to quit dunking because again, these things are moving. They're moving in tandem. They're going back and forth. The whole system works. Everything is the same on both sides. Yes, one has higher fees, but we know ETH isn't going anywhere. Look, you've got to take
buy
it all
lower
and
fees,
back off, and not try and dunk on each other all the time about this, because it's a losing argument. There is really no argument here. It's going to go back and forth, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about it. And as far as price action goes, if it's low, you're going to want to buy some, and that's what people have been doing when EHEX was down. And guess what? It moved just as much as what everybody says Richard bought, or whatever the wallet they think Richard bought. So whoever bridged that money over and bought, also just as much. I think it was 34 to 32% move on that whole thing. So why is anybody dunking? They moved the same.
Right. Let me just say one thing quickly. As a broke pleb,
hold on.
Can I say one thing just quickly as a broke pleb? Right. As a broke pleb, I unstaked my ETH Hex at the start of this year, and I was genuinely worried about it. But thankfully, the fees were kind of cheap enough. But I restaked it until the start of next year. Like, I don't have a big bag, so I'm not in the position to create a viable staking ladder yet. But I restaked it till the start of next year, and I'm not worried about that. Do you know why? Because of PulseChain. Because I know, because of what I'm able to gain on PulseChain and what I have been able to gain on PulseChain, I'm not going to have to worry about my unstaking fees on Ethereum at the start of next year. Just to make that clear.
I pray for your stake. I hope your in-stake fee is less than all the interest you accrued.
So I'm gonna get out of here.
See, I'm a long-term thinker. We have in this discussion with a lot of people, and they've said like, "Oh, it's going to cost me $30 to unstake something that's only $20." I'm like, but how far ahead are you thinking? Do you know what I mean?
Thinking pretty far ahead. My in-stake on Ethereum today, $500.
The
same.
I have a question. Let me just throw this question in and answer it.
Maybe I'm in a different position, but yeah.
The $500
about that in the
GG. Hold on 1 second. D'Artagnan had a question.
No, it's just a simple question because I'm curious because I have a stake ending not this month but next month, and it's over a year long. So that $500 stake, how long is that? I mean, does it matter the length of the stake? Or is it just depends?
The higher the fee. D'Artagnan, you can go and click end stake right now, but don't end it. Don't click, end stake, like end the stake, or click the button, but don't click it in MetaMask, and it will show you how much your current fee will be.
So because I'm not near my crypto computer. And I won't be until another 3 weeks or so. Just an estimate, something over a year. Just an estimate, just a ballpark. What would I be looking at?
I don't know.
Gotcha.
So the dynamic of Hex is you are leveraging. You're leveraging one of two things. You're leveraging time, which means you don't have a lot of capital, or you're choosing not to put much capital in one stake. You're leveraging time. Right. So 1 year means it threads through 365 days of calculations. Right. And depending on the market cycle, the expense of the gas and so forth. Right. Or your counter to that is shorter, but bigger. Right. To get the same T-shares. That's the mechanism. That's what is ingenious about the balancing. And when it comes to Ethereum, it has a lot of other things. It has a lot of L2s and A lot of other people speculate on the gas token for the L2s, right? And they say it's low transaction cost, or Solana has different, reason that people are on that network, right? Litecoin functions, Doge functions. There's a lot of stuff to compete with Ethereum. To think that to realize that it has a high gas cost means that it's very popular, right? Eventually, I think we should agree with what we've heard, or we should push back on what we've heard from Richard. Do you think that Richard intends for PulseChain to replace Ethereum, or do you think it intends to balance the load that Ethereum currently has by sharing?
Second, balance the load immediately without a second thought. He was just trying to balance the load. He's just trying to give you another runway to buy his first child, which is Hex. And when you purchase it, it's going to have another runway where it can take off even faster. So that's another thing. And I'm saying this because that's really what I want to deep dive in. What do you think is going to go scale up faster, PLS or Hex? I think it's Hex. He only jumped into PLS because I'm having all these sounds in the background. I don't know where that's coming from, but whatever. He only created PLS is because he wanted to make another Ethereum where it's more affordable to create to purchase Hex. Right or wrong?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think that was his only objective. I think his only objective, he would have socially consensus had us go to an L2 or go to a dead chain, and we would have been on Tron. If his only concern was low gas fees for only Hex, then we would be on a different network as an airdrop or social consensus. I do not.
Gotcha.
Do you remember, Gary, when he was talking, we had conversations early in Hex about this before it was even a problem. And Richard hinted one time, and there's a stream out there, and I wish I'd have to go dig it up.
It's in hexsearch.io if you search for it.
Yeah, I might be able to find it, but he said something to the tune of, and you see the sheepish grin on his face, and what he said was, well, if things get too ridiculous, we'll have to go do something on our own, or we'll
just
have
move. He said, we'll just move the system.
We'll just move or do something on our own with kind of like.
So we'll just move the system state, and everybody will go to a different chain that's cheaper. So we could have moved to existing technology, and we could have even moved to an L2 on Ethereum. But no, there was more than one product potential. And whether it was all gamed out to say the whole sacrifice and the APY on Curve and all these other new technologies and Aave and stuff like that, I don't know, because I'm not that deep into the weeds into crypto like Richard obsesses over. None of us are. But the guy thinks eight chess moves ahead of just about everything.
With that being said, Gary, so what you're telling me is, well, you know what? Let me rephrase that. I'm asking you, which one of the two, PLS or Hex, would Richard rather go up faster, or is that out of his control? Nobody knows. I'm curious. I'm just asking you innocently.
My opinion is Richard wants to be one of the three names that you know or new people know as crypto: Satoshi, Vitalik, Richard. I think he wants to be on par. And if PulseChain delivers that, or Hex delivers that, or any other game theory delivers that number or that recognition, he wants social recognition more than money. He's got more money than God, I think.
I agree. Legacy.
You're wrong, Briss. Richard said he wants Hex expensive on both sides, not expensive fees on both chains. He said expensive Hex on both chains.
So you think he wants us buying Hex on Ethereum?
I think he wants everybody buying all of his Hex.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Why? No, he doesn't. The reason why
he doesn't want you to not buy Hex. He doesn't want people to
shut the fuck up and let me speak. The reason why he
wait, hold on.
No.
Can we not? Wait. Hold on.
Why?
Let's not talk to each other like that. No. We should not speak to each other like that.
Oh, that's
Where
my
was
little buddy.
that?
He gets all hot under the collar because
Hey, you
he's
just said
not
that to
happy with
me
everything
when I was
that's happening.
interrupting funding Jim. So you start interrupting me. I throw it
I
back
never
at
told you
you.
to shut the fuck up. So you can
Yeah,
just
where was-
sit back and think about that for a minute. But you're wrong. Richard said he wants Hex to be expensive on both sides. Period.
Can-
End of
can I
story.
add-
He wants
Damn,
people to
man.
buy
He
I
wants
fucking
his
hate this
product.
shit.
ETH
He
fair
wants
Hex.
people to buy
Can I
his
add
product.
something that I think will
If you
solve
think
a
he
lot of
wants
this?
us buying ETH fair
If-
Hex, you guys are
Specific-
retarded.
Hey, Briz and the
And
rest
you're
of you.
wrong.
Specifically, what he actually said is he would like to see Hex expensive on all chains. That's a very different comment than saying he wants to see Hex expensive on all chains. If he, of course, if it was expensive on ETH Fair and ETHW and every chain that it popped up on, then he would be happy if he saw it expensive on those chains. He's not advocating for it to be expensive on any chain necessarily. He's saying he would like it. So I think this is kind of like a straw man type of argument here with it's. I think we're getting into the
To be fair,
weeds
he made that
and not being,
comment
and not
for
being
ETH
true to the
Fair
intent of what
and-
he said.
There's
He's
two
very
products. There's two
Yeah.
products that you guys are all familiar with. One is your toothpaste, like Colgate, and the other is Coca-Cola. You're familiar with the brand, but do you know that in Africa, one tube of toothpaste is like 3 weeks worth of salary? One tube of your Colgate toothpaste.
No,
Salary.
that's not true.
Wait. It's still
Oh
Colgate.
no.
Wait. It's still Colgate, but the price and the margin changes because the product wants to be distributed and sold under the brand and produced with the same quality in Africa. So if you're American or other Western country, Colgate price would equal 3 weeks worth of salary a lot of places in Africa. But people in Africa buy Colgate because it's in the price relative to their economy. It's the same thing with Coca-Cola. I'm in South America now. South America, things are cheaper, right? Is it just the currency exchange? No, it's actually the margin, and the company promotes the brand and the ingredients, and still people consume at different price points. So all I'm saying is the brand with this controversy or whatever it is, it hurts the brand to say Hex, but only this Hex, only this E Hex or P Hex differentiation. The brand is the brand. You're not rocking a different logo. You're rocking the same logo. You're not saying a different word. You're saying the same word. You're even talking about chart history of 10,000X. Fuck you, because it hasn't happened on PulseChain. If you're talking only PulseChain Hex, you're not talking about ROI. You're talking about 10,000X history on Ethereum. So like the brand is the brand. Hexicans are not E Hexicans and P Hexicans. They're not. They're brand.
There's a use case for both. I mean, and I think that that's where sometimes people just kind of get too rigid in one or the other. And I'm kind of surprised that this debate even still goes on. You know, it's all relative, right? And it's like an example I give is when, you know, we're near all-time highs, like an idiot, because I wasn't familiar with how to properly put a staking ladder together. I had 4 stakes coming out back to back to back to back over 4 days, one a day. Now, each of those stakes cost me the equivalent of about $500. When I was ending them, their value was about $300K a piece. So when my gas fee was $1,500, I didn't give a shit. And it wasn't $1,500 for all 4. It was $1,500 each. So I spent $6,000 in gas to end those. But it was relative. I'm looking at it like I just made monumental gains on these Hex stakes. Okay, this sucks, but I just banked out. I just made $2,000 into 1.2 million. And
Hold that
that's
one
kind of the
second.
similar scenario that we have now. There are going to be larger players, and here's why I think larger players are more akin to using eHex. Couple of reasons. One, it's on Ethereum. It's the number 2 crypto. It is well known. People understand it. They're not familiar with bridging and this other chain and all this other stuff. Number 3, the issue with the SEC. What's under speculation right now? Richard Hart's misappropriation of investor funds, which we know is all bullshit, but they've named PulseChain, they've named Hex, they've named PulseX, they've named all of those entities, right? So there's a little bit of speculation there of like, hey, are these going to have problems? eHex is kind of above the fray on that. It's been out there for 4+ years, flawless uptime. It has done what it was promised to do. The last piece is eHex is the one with those 4 years of history that did the 10,000x. So to Gary's point, PHEX hasn't done that. Pulse hasn't done that. PulseX hasn't done that. Inc hasn't done that. It's not got that shining little star at the top of its tree, right? And the last piece I'd like to add in is that Richard is a guy that wants glory. We saw it in the movie. He spelled it out very nicely. He also spelled out in the movie and signed off on the fact that we had that little animation of the ETH gas chain or the Ethereum blockchain and the Pulse chain, and how there was traffic. If you guys remember that scene in the movie, and how we were going to kind of alleviate some of the traffic on the ETH chain, right? And that's kind of why he was doing that. So there's a use case for both. It's to actually not replace. It's not the ETH killer. It's the ETH supporter. It's going to be working in parallel with Ethereum, because he knows that there's people that are never going to do anything except on Ethereum. But for those that want to learn and dig a little deeper and aren't as concerned about the SEC and the fact that it's a new chain by the RH guy and all that, they're going to come over and they're going to play on PulseChain. And eventually, when they see the green candles, more and more of them are going to want to rush over there to get yield. More and more of them are going to come over there and want to get gains. And the very, very, very last piece that I want to add is he's a glory guy, and he wants his chart to do something that very few cryptos have done, and that is get a new all-time high in its second cycle. There's only like 4 coins that have ever done that. A Bitcoin and Ethereum. I can't name the other 2. He wants that badge of honor.
RH is a conductor.
Hold on. Even if it is for a tick on the chart, we will beat the all-time high for eHex, if for nothing else, for bragging rights. So he can say, hey, we beat the all-time high. And he's not an asterisk guy.
You beat that.
He doesn't want to combine.
I got somebody in the green room.
He doesn't want to combine eHex, PHEX, 52 cents. He wants eHex at 52 cents. So there is no equivocation about, like, did it beat its all-time high or not? It beat it. Now, whether or not PHEX and Pulse and PulseX and Inc all come along with it, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I wasn't going to.
I can't stress enough, just very quickly.
No, shut the fuck up. I need to bring somebody on, guys. He's been sitting in the green room for a half a fucking hour. Let him in. Fast Abdul, thanks for waiting and being patient, my man. I'm
hey,
sorry.
guys. It was great watching you all shout at each other. I just want to let you know that you're all doing it wrong, though. There's a better way. This problem is solved. We don't have to fight. It's fine.
Yeah,
I want to fight you, though, Fast.
Leave Fast Abdul in the green room for half an hour when all you had to do was hit a button to bring him up, mister.
I want to give everybody the respect of bringing him.
Oh, Hextrovert as well. Hello.
I had to come for the Hex debate because apparently eHex is dead, and I don't think so.
See, again,
this guy has the better way. He has a way to solve your problem.
No one has claimed eHex is dead or it's going to die. You guys are lying about the position. Here's the
no one's lying, Briz.
The OA will not let eHex die.
How can we save EX extra? Tell us the magic that you've already made that's like on the way where we don't have to pay huge staking fees. Have we solved that problem, sir?
Yeah, we've solved it. It's
make a shit ton of money.
Yep. Stakehouse is trustless pools, all gas shared, no begging for a donation gas address. It's all in the code. Everyone can just use it as they will and start their own pools. So, and that'll be on Ethereum as well as PulseChain, both chains.
I'll be flicking my bean.
This is about Hex.
This is the future. This is Hex on Ethereum is going to be all these staking pools or the Maximus DAO tokens. Those will be the 2 ways that you participate with Hex on Ethereum. Because, like, yeah, the fees are going to get worse. They're not going to get better. So, but like the problem is
they may get better with proto-dank sharding and over the evolution of time, right? We don't really know, right? And we don't even know if PulseChain gets fully adopted. Maybe it becomes super expensive at some point, right? So having these pooled stakes that can be done trustlessly future-proofs it, right? Regardless. So it's all in the code. Everyone can do what they want for the time they want. They can collaborate together socially, create their own pools, and share the gas fees. Right?
That's the fucking perfect point, Hextrovert, that we should all focus on when it comes to PulseChain is what is being built over here. Do you know what I mean? That is the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like the gas fees in Ethereum don't matter a fuck to people with money. Do you know what I mean? But
there's a lot of dynamics, right? You got those people who don't care about gas fees, right? And then you got people who care about APY, and they're two different chains with two different mechanisms for Hex, right? So depending on how many people are staking, the T-share rate over time, it's all going to play in a part to where someone says, I'm going to stake here or I'm going to stake there.
It's about what you offer. It's about what you offer to the market. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think people cared about the gas fees so much they created a thing called Maximus.
And there's other ones, Maximus, and there's like 6 of them.
Some people don't want to wait 15 years, right? So you can do your own timeline, and everyone can share the gas fee without a donation address needed for a gas fee at the end.
I was just kind of addressing the point that like people don't care about gas fees.
I mean,
like,
I get it.
You drive collector cars. Briz drives collector cars that are gas guzzlers. That's what he drives. What are you talking about? You drive it in California where it's like $6 a gallon. What are you talking about? You're so about the little man, about the guy that has $150 to his name. But like you drive classic cars. I was at Barrett Jackson.
Yeah, I'm fucking retired, bro.
For a pickup truck. You're paying $400,000 for a pickup truck. If you want to speak to 1 million people that have $150, then do that. But maybe think that there's different price points for different people that can come into this market. Right? There's rich people, there's poor people, there's middle in between, there's everybody under the spectrum that can participate. And if your brand is Pulse whatever, then only talk Pulse at whatever. But like the controversy, I don't think it's a reason to controversy. Most of us that like eHex, we don't even differentiate. We simply say, I like Hex. I like Hex. I like Hedron. I like the things that
lead people to Ethereum proof of work. Lead them over there. Tell them to buy Hex on.
No, because
what do you mean lead them over there? That's where it all started, bro.
That argument is the work that whole martyrism of it, Briss, is what sucks.
Because you know I'm right.
Like you're not right.
Yes,
you're inaccurate.
You won't tell people to buy Hex on Ethereum.
No,
Fair.
I'm not telling people.
We're not talking about Ethereum Fair, bro.
I'm saying that they both are valuable, and they're both going to continue to be valuable. There are tools to fix the Ethereum gas prices all over the place. The gentlemen here right now are talking about that right now, right in front of your face. They're telling you that they've got that solved, that they're working on fixing those problems.
Hex on Ethereum is closest to the money, buddy. And if you're retired, you should understand that.
Yeah, boy. Because he buys premium weed that gets delivered to his house. So I know he doesn't care about price himself. So
Richard is amazing at condensing complex ideas into a simple statement. One of his best clips, in my opinion, is a simple statement that says, what's the use of crypto? Store of value, speculation. That's it. There's nothing else as use. Yeah, you're going to get your beer out of a vending machine because your ID is on the blockchain. Whatever. That's like nothing. It is speculation and it's store of value. People that want to speculate, they're going to arb. They're going to go between the two chains. When you said something about if it's ETH fair or ETH proof of work, you know that that's not an honest statement. Because why do people think something has a store of value? They think other people will value it too. They will value it also. Hexicans value Hex. Maybe you are not going to buy my eHex bags, right? Because you think it's a dumb product now because it's too expensive to stake and unstake. But somebody else will, because it's still store of value scale of the community that exists. Maybe fewer people will onboard onto Ethereum Hex. That's fine. There's a higher APY because fewer people choose to stake. There's a lot of mechanisms that really have not been shown over the past 4 years or 5 years, as far as Hex goes, because there's been about 10 or 11% APY per year if you did short 1 year kinds of stakes. And that can go up to what, 30, 40%? Like if 1% of the if 1% gets staked, then it's like 36%, right? APY. So like there's people that will value because of the brand that Richard launched and this community advocates and edifies. That's the store of value narrative and speculation.
And then all I'll say is wait till Richard fucking pumps money into Hex. Meh.
That's a narrative we all need to step away from. You know, I mean, I know Richard has even hinted to it himself, but it's a dangerous narrative because nothing that this community has ever speculated about what Richard is going to do has ever come to fruition in the time frames or the wishes that everybody's wanted. Richard does things when Richard does things. And I'm not saying that he will or won't buy, but for any of us to say it is disingenuous and leading people in a wrong direction. Or look, we have an accountability to this community. Briss, Jim, Toby, us guys that have been in here from the beginning, spitting out a spleen, showing people what Hex is all about. We need to be accountable to our influence into the community and what we say and the things that we say. And we need to be careful. And when people say things like this, we need to address it. And we need to tell people that, hey, like Gary said, these things are for speculation. All of this stuff is speculation. And if one thing that one of us says gives people hope or false hope, or for instance, look how long it took PulseChain to come out. If anybody told anybody out there, hey, you're going to make 100x next week because Richard's going to launch this thing, then you failed the community. You failed the people that you're speaking into's lives. And, you know, there's a lot of people that got wrecked because of it. There's a lot of people that over leveraged themselves waiting for this thing to come out for a few years. And now some of them are even waiting for it to pump because they over leveraged themselves and they did something that they weren't supposed to do because one of us may have said something that led them in the wrong direction. So we have to be careful about what we say and how we say it and the narratives that we just kind of like pop out there, you know, and I just want everybody to take a little more accountability and be a little more rational and start thinking about the things that we say before we say it.
Absolutely. And it's like, you know, we got to stay focused on what the man actually has said. And if you go all the way back to before Pulse was even launched, one of the things that he made very clear was that he could not make it look like he was favoring Hex in any way with the Pulse launch, because there were people that were asking for, like, you know, all these benefits for Hexicans, and he's like, absolutely not, absolutely not. Pulse is its own thing. It is going to be fair. It is going to be a system state copy, and everybody is going to get copies, and Hex isn't getting any more or less than anybody else. So he made it very clear that that was his stance on it. And if you look at, you know, what happened recently with the OA funds coming in to kind of like bring up the price floor for the Pulse items, eHex came right along with it. There was not direct evidence of anything from the SAC addresses buying eHex, but it sure moved, didn't it? So I think it's pretty obvious that the market is deciding, and they're seeing that when these other things move, that there has been this ratio between PHEX and eHex, and that tends to be maintained. And it's in a tight range of 1.6 to 2.0, and that's kind of where it's been bouncing around for months now. So I think that, you know, people that are expecting Richard to do anything directly with eHex are misinterpreting what the man himself has said. I don't think that it's a good look, and plus it's counterintuitive to what he said about supporting his own chain. Why would he want to pay those gas fees over on Ethereum? It's hypocritical for him to do it. So it doesn't make any sense. And then, you know, and then the other piece of this whole dynamic is what's going on with SDAI. You know, there's all this speculation about the OA funds moving over into MakerDAO and earning this yield. And people are like, well, why doesn't he just use the OA funds to just perpetually buy up the PulseChain prices of things? Because he's smarter than you. That's why. And if he can go make yield, and then he could use those funds, the yield on that money, to maybe come and do what happened just recently, where he injected some capital in to buy Pulse and PHEX and PulseX, I believe, then why would he not do that monthly? If he's making $2 million a year in yield on the stuff that's over on SDAI, That's $2 million of free money that he's vampire attacking away from the Ethereum blockchain system and bringing it in to move those prices up. Why is he moving those prices up? People like green candles. So not only are whales enticed by those things, so are the small guys. So yeah, is the price moving away from the small guys? I'd love to see the small guys succeed. You know, I'm all about the small guy doing well too. That's one of the reasons I love PulseChain. And when I have a guy that wants to onboard with $500, if you're looking to stake and you're wanting to do stuff, I'm going to show you how to get into the PulseChain. If I'm onboarding somebody that's got millions of dollars that they're interested in deploying, you know, they're going to be more comfortable with the Ethereum chain. Just telling you flat out. That's how it's played out for me over and over again.
It's kind of like a buy and burn, isn't it, Toby?
Yeah,
what I'm seeing is
actually, right?
he's basically giving people exit liquidity, you know, incrementally. He's giving people exit liquidity. That's kind of what I've been seeing on the chart on the PulseChain side. Not on the fucking Ethereum side, but on the PulseChain side. That's kind of how I've been seeing it. Is like, okay, here's your exit liquidity. Here you go. Here you go. I'll pay you to get out, and then we'll go to the fucking moon.
That's what happened with the LP for the BankX theory, right? Is that LP on Ethereum was increased for like 10 million or something to give them potential to exit.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how I'm seeing it, but don't get me wrong. I'm a newbie. I'm a total noob, like 2.5 to 3 years in crypto. But that's kind of what I'm seeing on the PulseChain side. It's like, okay, let's give them their exit liquidity. Let's give them their exit liquidity. Let them get out. Whether that's planned, I also have like my conspiracy theories. Whether that's planned, also. Like, it's like, okay, here you go. There's the money, so you can take your money out, and who knows how it works.
That's too simple.
I'm kind of seeing, like, it's like there's the way that things are getting pushed incrementally with the SAC wallet. It's like, here's your like exit liquidity, here's your exit liquidity. And that's the way I'm seeing it, and that's the way I've been playing it. So I'm like, okay, boom, boom, DCA, 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 you know. The way I said it to some people is like, I was like, thank you, Richard, for giving me some dips, kind of thing, like pushing the price but allowing me to DCA in at the right times, kind of thing. But obviously that's purely speculation.
Very speculative. Richard's not doing anything for anybody. Richard is working on this ecosystem for the ecosystem. He's not giving anybody exit liquidity. He's not pumping anybody's bag. He's using tools and things out there that exist in crypto to like what was talked about earlier. Richard wants to make good products, and he's trying to make the world better by doing so. And he's got plans. There's reasons why he's done everything. We've seen it. We know that Richard is calculated. We know that he understands game theory, and his game theory has been the best in the crypto space, period, bar none. So the things that he is doing is for a bigger cause, not for some of the things we may think personally, like he's trying to help. Compassion, mute yourself before you speak. I think we got a bunch of stuff going on. So that's what's happening here. Is Richard is doing things to make the system better. Hex doesn't have a buy and burn. You know, what Toby just explained is kind of like a little buy and burn situation going on here. Those tokens are being value is being moved from one token into another. And we're seeing other cryptos start to program this into themselves. Hex was built as a DeFi protocol before all these new DeFi protocols could come out because of PulseChain. So now PulseChain's coming out, and now DeFi protocols are being able to program all of this stuff. For instance, the HSI. The HSI is a stake that can be moved now. We don't have that with Hex. Richard wasn't able to program that in. He created PulseChain. Now all those things can be programmed in. So there's all of these different protocols now that can be programmed into them. And Richard's just doing the things that all of these other tokens are starting to do. It's almost like, well, I shouldn't say Richard's doing it. I'm saying that there is a benevolent actor in this space with those wallets that is moving value from the Ethereum chain into the PulseChain ecosystem, buying those tokens, and looks like it's locking them up. And so that is like a buy and burn feature, which is now out there that, you know, tokens you can use. And this right here, you guys don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who you are, Black Pepper.
I'll
to
put
be
some
honest.
context on that one.
But you're talking to a bunch of people that I don't think that your comments that holds any water here, because we've all been here for a very long time and understand this very well. But good on you for betting on PulseChain. You said one smart thing there.
Well, we're all betting on PulseChain. Just to put some context on that, we've all been around in this community for quite a while, and we believe in Richard. So by default, we believe in PulseChain. We all want it to succeed, all that good stuff. But there's a lot of people that don't believe in PulseChain yet. It's got to prove itself, and they're on ETH, and that chain has proved itself. And so maybe they're more comfortable there. So it's viable on both chains. That's just what people have to understand. No one's saying go do it here and do it there and don't do it anywhere else. You get to choose. But Ethereum has proven itself, whether the gas fees are high, whether they come down or not. The chain's been going for 10 years or more. It's proven itself. PulseChain has to prove itself.
Hey, OG Black Pepper, come on in and have a conversation. Educate us then, please. I would appreciate that.
That's why I also like, by the way, little plug for 9 Inches, because they're on Ethereum as well, and they're trying to hit that market, and they are PulseChain centric when it comes to a DEX. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, fuck Uniswap.
Compassion.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off. You guys have a good one. I'll see some of you guys in Vegas. And
yeah, buddy. Next week.
At the end of the day, we're all gonna win. We're all winning.
Amen.
So good to see you all.
See you, man.
Good night, bro.
I don't know anybody else in the community that has met Bretep directly, but I did spend about 4 hours with him about a month ago in Vegas. And he's an interesting guy. I mean, just an amazing guy. He'll tell more of his story when he chooses to be more public. Maybe he'll come to one of these meetups like this happening with Captain soon. But what he did, we had heard through Richard. I think Richard had made a tweet, or maybe had made a stream. I think it was a tweet about the overhead cost of running a chain. I think some people even took it as a complaint that it was $600,000 to basically AWS, basically when it was first being launched, or maybe the test net, something like that. There's a tweet. I can't remember what it was. But this thing is not inexpensive to operate. You think that simply because validators are validating and they're earning from validating, that's the overhead cost. That's not the overhead cost. The overhead cost is high to run an L1 chain for all the different products that are on top of it. And the only thing, we want to call it the sacrifice with no expectation, all that stuff like that, sure. But we have seen on chain that if not all of that became DAI and has sat there as DAI for a long time without ever being deployed. And even in the 8 or 10 months that the chain has been alive, there's a portion, a very small, no expectation portion of all PulseX fees that goes to a wallet that you should have no expectation of. But I think people have been watching that, and that doesn't go to the overhead cost of running this chain. So my speculation about like the Aave, the SDAI, all the stuff that's been happening recently is simply recouping the cost, or basically making it auto balance the cost. And then anything above and beyond that, who knows?
Is it not like 200K a month or maybe a year to
about 20 million a year for the 340 million that is out there, I think.
Yeah, something ridiculous just to keep the chain going. Yeah.
Right. And we don't know what the tax structure is. We don't know that there's not a dead man switch organization. We don't know that it's Richard or Greg the Duck.
Cheap.
We don't know.
It's not cheap.
Yeah. But there's overhead that's being borne.
Hey, Fast Abdul, did you have something that you wanted to share?
Sure. Yeah, I just got another way that we could all be making money off of Hex. So, I don't think we should leave any money on the table. I know sometimes we're reaching out to new people and maybe we don't share this kind of stuff, but everybody in this room would certainly understand what we're talking about. So yeah, we could share that.
Go for it, man.
Okay. So 47% to 117% APR. This is on the Fux exchange. This is one particular pool. This is Maxi paired with Team, two Maximus DAO products. They're both, you know, I won't get into the details of exactly how Maximus DAO stuff works, but they're both basically Hex. You can provide liquidity in the 50-50 pool where you should experience little to no impermanent loss. You're not locked at all. Like you stake the liquidity token, but you can unstake it and liquidate it at any time and make up to 117% APR, which is better than staking Hex. You know, I know there's many strategies of staking ladders and all that, but like we have a 15-year stake here, and then we have like a variable stake product with their team token, but basically Hex against Hex, paying you 117%. Everybody that's here right now could certainly comprehend how to do this. You know, the couple fairly simple steps. This money's on the table. And this is the sort of thing that we should be teaching the new people early on, that there's options to participate in Hex without being locked. There's options to participate in 15-year stakes without being locked. And there's products like Stakehouse coming out where you can participate on Ethereum as a group and not pay huge fees. So there's, you know, all these options that apply both to Hex on PulseChain and Hex on Ethereum that are part of things like the liquidity pool that we're looking at here. Like this stuff is on the table. It's happening right now. This is a fork of Balancer. That's what the PHUX exchange is, a fork of Balancer V2, the most advanced exchange in the world, in my opinion. And we have it on PulseChain, and Hex is a big part of it. Now I know there's things on PulseX as well. There's some interesting farms there that we could look at. Other ways where you can make maybe 30-40% APR without too much impermanent loss on Hex and Pulse, I believe. But right here, right now, you could be getting over 100% APR and not be staked, be completely liquid, and be participating in Hex and get the pump. If a billionaire should decide to buy a Hex on PulseChain, these two products are very much tied to that, and their price will go up too. So just want to put this out there that there are some extra options. There are some things beyond the regular, let's make a staking ladder, or, let's be on Ethereum, let's be on PulseChain. You can be on both. In fact, on PulseChain, there's so many bridge tokens that you can participate in both Hex and all the Maximus products just with the bridge tokens that are on PulseChain, where you're paying Pulse fees instead of Ethereum fees. So, and I think Alex from Hedron is probably going to even have some extra things for us. He's got those HSIs where we can move them. There might even be some cross-chain things he's working on, and I can't speak to that because that's pretty complicated, but there's huge things coming. So between, the Stakehouse guys, MCR69 guys making those big pools that we can all participate in, and with the Maximus DAO guys I've already done, and what Alex from Hedron is going to do with the HSIs where we can move Hex stakes, like these problems are huge. And these are the things that we can teach the new people right off the bat, right? That they don't have a problem. Don't present them with problems, present them with solutions.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
something I gotta add.
Hold on one second. Hold on a second, everybody. Hold on. Because I want a voice in here to speak to this. And that's Briss. Briss, I want you to give your concerns here. I want to hear what you have to say about things like this, because look, we all know that when we talk about these type of returns, we know that there's risk involved. Period. End of story. There's always risk involved, and there's always a learning curve that new people have to learn before they can go do liquidity providing or becoming part of pools and all that kind of stuff. So I want to hear what you have to say about it, Briss, because you've been expressing your concerns, and you're coming from the other side of the coin. So talk
about liquidity providing Maximus and the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it sounds good. I think it's actually a pretty smart idea.
Does it help to alleviate the issues that you were talking about on Ethereum? Because you're vocal about it.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're not buying the EHEX and just like, the whole point of the fucking Hex is to stake it. And so you're buying the staked Hex when you buy those particular products. So yeah, I have no problems with the perpetual products. I think they're great.
I
got to add something in there.
I actually like them a lot for the staking cost share, right? For the unstaking cost share. That's awesome. I buy them. I like them. I watch for dips on them. keep in mind, the thing to keep in mind, two things. One is the liquidity doesn't match your entry, and that is probably a good thing. So if you're going to basically trade them to trade in and out over the course of a 10-year stake on Maxi or something like that, I don't think it's good. I think that realizing it and ending the contract when it's due is probably going to give you more hex than trading in, trading out the derivative or the perpetual. And then the other thing is, good things these are smart contracts. Good things these are things that can be audited, and likely have been. I think all of them have been, including the stuff that's for Bucks products of Fucks and stuff, right? But it's a contract inside of a contract inside of a contract inside of a who knows. So caveat emptor, DYOR, audit. Smart contracts are supposed to be better than humans, but sometimes they fail. Sometimes people fail instead of the contract. All those different warnings, but I like them a lot, and I only buy them with the intention, absolute intention, of going to the end of it and ending stake with everybody else that's in that shared pool.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's like something like Super Stake that just continually adds to a perpetual 60-day stake that just grows and grows and grows. Like, it's immutable. It just grows that stake. Like, that has the potential to become one of the biggest hex stakers in the next few years. Do you know what I mean? It's built upon hex, and it just grows and grows and grows. Like, that perpetual stake will grow forever, locked away in hex stakes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love stuff like that is built upon hex and just improves hex. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff. But the
other thing is, so there's ones that are the perpetuals. Everybody knows as far as the timeline. A lot of people, I think the first one was like, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of hex was staked away. Maybe
600 million, I think.
But it's a lot, right? And now they have launched again audit risk or whatever, new contract risk and stuff like that. They've launched their party products that have a namesake. The namesake, you can be public about who controls it. You're going to be basically doxing that wallet that basically bought the name, I guess, whatever their name claims. And if you want to approach an entity, you want to approach Red Cross, you want to approach a charity, something like that, I think that that's pretty useful. I think that those things that are namesaked are might have a use case that gives them value above and beyond simply the degenerates in crypto.
Just to add on there to what Gary was touching on, he's kind of taking the words out of my mouth. The big one here is counterparty risk. Richard beat that drum endlessly forever. Hex is immutable, no admin keys. That's one of the things that I love about it. It's been working flawlessly for all those years. And like Gary said, it's a contract inside of a contract inside of a contract. It's, obviously I'm not disparaging anyone here, but the reality of it is like, if you look, for example, with what Fast Abdul used as an example, he had Maxi and Team. I would encourage people to do your own research. The way people got Team was by trading their Maxi for it. And for every Team that was produced and given to people that sacrificed their Maxi, one was given to the mystery box. Now, I trust the OA. He has shown himself to be true. I don't think Gold Key and Dipcatcher are so short-sighted that they would do anything untoward with that mystery box. And so far, they have been doing good things, providing LP, doing some payouts to the perpetual stakes, to the Diamond Hands protocol. I participate in all that stuff because I'm curious about it. So obviously to a smaller degree than I do with my native hex stakes. But it's counterparty risk. It's a chance that you're taking that something doesn't go the way that you hope it goes. And there has been a significant amount of economic energy that has been diverted into this mystery box, right? And there's other protocols that are similar. I'm sure there's stuff like that have gone on with Fucks and others. I haven't looked into those to see specifically what those things are, but people need to do their own research. I think the safest bet is a native hex staking ladder, PulseChain or eHex. Either of those I think are the way to go. That is a huge portion of my portfolio is hex and phex stakes. And I've got Pulse and I've got PulseX, and I participate in the liquidity farming and those things, but I do have some of the perpetuals. I have some exposure to those things because I think that they do have a use case. But you are introducing counterparty risk with any of those other things. So people need to be aware of that.
Like the concept of using like a fork of balancer, like this thing has been audited so many times on multiple chains. Like liquidity providing balancer, and which is the same thing that Fux is equally safe to Uniswap, which is something that Richard taught us how to do. So this is just a natural extension on the chain that he made with a fork of balancer that's been audited many times there and many times here. It's not a big stretch. And I think really like when we look at Hex and how it is now, it used to be Hex and only Hex, nothing else is good enough. And now it's Hex and friends. And we just have to accept that with the Pulse chain. Like we all grow together. We all win together to some degree. If it's not a scam and the intent is good and the product is good, we have to at least allow new people to inspect it and give it some token support, right? And I hear you talk about the Maximus. That's cool. When we start to talk about like the stakehouse stuff with those pools where people can come in, like we should at least inform the new people that we've solved these problems and there's extra money on the table if you can wrap your mind around it. And I know like impermanent loss and stuff like that, that's a more difficult conversation, but there are some pretty easy ones that we can look at. And since everything from Ethereum is bridged to PulseChain now, if we can get them to PulseChain, then it's pretty much a win, whether they're investing in Hex or they're from Ethereum or they're investing in Hex from PulseChain on PulseChain. It's all here. So I think that should really be the main focus of Hexicans, is getting people on PulseChain to participate with things that are from Ethereum, perhaps. But this is where the win is. This is where we build together and we win together.
Yeah, I like Fux. I've used that. I participate in the VFux thing. I've got some liquidity positions in various pools there, but not all pools are created equally. So I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, be careful, do your own research. It's like just because something looks like it's got a great APR doesn't mean that that's the one that you should ape into. Look at what the coins that are involved are. Look at what the history is. Look at the founders. Look at the contract. Because the pool itself might be fine, but if there's a piece of that pool that's fucked, the pool's fucked.
Hey, Sandy Beach would also like you to use the term P-Hux. That's fucking P-Hux, guys.
Every day. She reminds me. If you remember back at the start when Alex announced HSIs, the general narrative for most Hexicans is, I'm not putting my Hex in there. And then over time that changed and became quite popular. And it's just another tool.
So let's take a step back and let everybody know where we're at. We're in the Wild Wild West. This is the first iterations of true DeFi. There are people out there making new stuff. And there's a lot of smart people making new stuff. And let's face it, there are going to be the same freaking crypto scammers and guys trying to, make money off of the system as there always has been. It's going to happen. So it's on all of you to make sure that you're doing your own due diligence. You're taking care of yourself. You don't stick your things in things that you don't know where they've been or what they're going to do to you. That should be, especially right now with what's happening with the advent of PulseChain, all these things are going to come back out, and every single shell game that has been played on human beings from the beginning of time, there's nothing new under the sun, guys, is going to start happening again. So it's your fault if you're going to go get yourself wrecked. Now, there are people out there that are doing things, and you need to figure out if you trust them, if you believe in what they're doing. I would spend time in their Telegram rooms. I would spend times on their Twitters. I would learn who they are, and what they've done. When I got involved with Richard Hart, I watched him. I watched all of his old streams. I listened to him for over a year straight before I even thought about putting my little bit of crypto into his system. And I thought he was the real deal. I thought that everything I saw about him oh, the spam king. I'm like, really? Spam? They're trying to call this guy a scammer because he was spam. He was like the first guy to get caught spamming on email, and they were trying to make a deal out. So as I looked at him as a person, as I looked at what he was doing, yeah, and what he said, he was a pioneer, and he was a real deal. Now, that's why I took the risk, and I took the risk. Richard could have scammed out. Richard could have just made a shit product, and it could have dumped. I took the risk on Hex. Now, as Hex emerged and became what it was, we all got behind it and said, hey, this is something that now we can go and speak publicly about. This isn't something I have to go hide in the shadows and learn about and invest in. This is something that I can speak about. That's why I made this channel. That's why I build this community, because I can stand here and have Hex behind me and know that it's not going to scam out. All the rest of the stuff, PulseChain, PulseX, and all these tools and things built on top of it are all suspect to me. Now, do I play with them all? Have I made money on a bunch of other shit that doesn't belong in this system or has nothing to do with this system? Yes, I have. But I'm not going to tell other people to go do them. I'm not going to tell other people what I do so that they go out and get themselves fucked over because they don't understand how to do it, or they don't have access to the people that I have access to who are helping me along the way. So find yourself mentors, find yourself a way to do your own research, Telegram, Twitter, whatever, and dig into it if this is something you're going to do, because you are playing in a game right now that is highly volatile, that is highly speculative, that is highly full of scammers on every corner. And even if you don't get scammed, you might make a wrong turn and blow your whole load on a bad wallet issue or something. So be very, very cautious, people. These things that we're talking about are highly speculative, and some of them are working, some of them aren't, and you need to do your research. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there before we start, throwing up all over everybody, all the cool bitch and shit that's being made out there.
Right.
Because it's
Well,
dangerous.
I keep thinking of that old Shaka Khan song, "Show me something good." It's like, the only shit I'm gonna shill is gonna be RH tokens, period. However,
Exactly.
I do believe it is very important to support good actors coming in to build on PulseChain, because we have to have it. It can't just be Hexicans that carry the load. So these new protocols, I mean, stuff like Hextrovert Tie's working on, Dipcatcher and those guys I think are great. I think that there's a lot of opportunity there, but man, just do your research, because it's like they could have all the good intentions in the world, but there could be something fucked up in their code that the auditors missed and they missed, and and boom, you're screwed. And Sammy just got wrecked. I heard on Twitter, where she had put some money into some pool to earn some yield and lost like 40 million pulse or something. It was like 40 grand, whatever it was. It was like $40,000 worth of pulse. I mean, it was not a small amount of money for that woman. And I felt so bad for her. And it's like, Sammy, it's like you're the tried and true Hex maxi of them all. What are you doing picking up pennies in front of freight trains? And she got. She got.
Yeah.
So everyone's got to be careful. Got to be careful. Don't
100%.
sleep on it. Yep.
And if you can't trust someone like Fast Abdul that has like a full 100% Alice in Wonderland shit going on,
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. It's Willy Wonka. Vintage Willy Wonka.
Where's the Oompa Loompas?
I mean, I love this guy. Like, he was on my stream dressed in a full like gi dojo gi in background. Yeah, sorry, I just had to say that.
I love Fast Abdul. I always love seeing him in the chat tearing it up. So yeah,
he's one of my faves. He's one of my faves for sure.
Mine too.
And I appreciate you coming in here and bringing the conversation. It was a really good conversation tonight, talking about these things, because that's the other thing I want to make sure that we do. Also, I don't want to be a toxic Hex maxi. I want people to understand that there's a reason for being a Hex maxi. There's a reason for us doing what we do and the way we do it. Like I said, I believe in Hex 100%, that I can tell people that you're going to be okay if you get yourself involved in Hex. You are going to be okay. Everything else, I want people to have the place to talk about them. I want them to be able to prove themselves. But I don't want to put them out there as the next shiny object, the next thing you should put your money into, or the solution to beat Hex or PulseChain or PulseX. I want everybody to know that people are out there making tools, because now there is fertile ground for this to happen. Remember, you couldn't build this stuff on Ethereum. The reason we're having this conversation is because Ethereum sucks because of the gas fees. Now, people have been waiting a long time to build stuff like it's being built now on PulseChain. So these people are coming out of the woodwork and coming to PulseChain and making those products and trying to make things better. So somebody said, you know, hey, no more Rube Goldberg machines. Well, I got news for you. Richard's probably going to continue to bring products to market, and they're going to be good, and they're going to be solid, and they're going to be built by him on his chain for his chain. But other people are coming up with solutions and doing good work too. I work in the background with some developers and some very smart people that are working on tokenomics and in development right now. And these people are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to make the right things, and they're taking advantage of PulseChain and the fact that they can build on it to go and build, because there are a lot of smart people out there. Richard isn't the only smart person in crypto. There are a lot of other people. Look at what Alex did. Look at the work he's done. And Alex is even having some issues right now. He's having to work because of, you know, the way he built his crypto and how PulseChain has reacted to it. So not everybody's going to build all the right products all the right time. You've got to be careful. You've got to watch what's going on, but you got to let everybody speak. Just because somebody comes on and starts talking about other things doesn't mean you tell them to go fuck off and you get drunk and tell them they're a bunch of assholes and idiots. That is not how we should be having discourse. Discourse, well, man, let everybody go out and hang themselves.
That's why I weighed in on your someone had posted a clip of a space that you had done explaining your understanding of the Rackham thing. And I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, because I think the underlying lesson is what I think is key. It's not about the particulars of, you know, what happened or didn't, or, you know, if what he told you is exactly the truth of how it played out. The lesson there that I took away from it, and I commend you for it, is toxicity drives people away. If I had seen Richard Hart with doing the outrage marketing, if that was the first experience I had of him, I might have taken the millions that me and my onboards brought into the system, or the countless hours I've spent trying to help this community along, and walked on down the road. You know, it could have just been that quick where I saw him and turned the channel, you know, but I saw Richard Top Hat Guy, and that lured me in, and I got to know more of who he was. And then here I am, man, just beating the drum, you know, 4+ years later. And, you know, so it's very important that, you know, we are aware of how we are perceived. And, you know, we ran off good opportunities. Lex Friedman, you know, I try not to like break my arm, pat myself on the back for that one, but I called Lex Friedman at MIT. I did some research, found his office number, got a hold of the dude. I got that ball rolling. And then the toxic Hexican community fucking rode that guy until he wanted nothing to do with it. And now he'll block anybody that even mentions Hex now, or Richard Hart. And that was a stepping stone to Joe Rogan that we never got to cross, because the community and all of its passion, you know, fucked it up. And there's a bunch of other ones that I could rattle off, but I'm not going to bother. And that's discouraging, man.
My good friend, a good friend that would do favor for me, anything. She works at Fox Business. She is one of their top financial anchors. And when I took this to her and said, hey, look, I'm not asking you to do anything. I just want you to look at it. And she took it to her producers, and the producers looked at what was going on in the community, and said, we're not going to touch this. Crypto's already too dangerous. And this one right here is way too untouchable. And so, but you know, here's what I want to say to people is that, you know, we're very quick to judge one another. We're very quick on this 2D world to say something that we might not want to say before thinking about it. I have a lot of friends in this space, and Gary sitting right here, one of my closest friends in all this community. We've traveled the world together. We've shared each other's life stories. We're friends, period, end of story. One of my other friends, one whom we're speaking of now, said some horrific things about him. Now, that turned into a public beef. My two friends, the two people that I know, understand, and care about, started poking at each other. And it turned into a public argument in front of all of our community, and lies about both of them were sprouted because of it. That puts me in a very difficult position, because I care about both of these men immensely. And so in the background, I had conversations with both of them about what they did. And me and Gary got in a fight. Me and Rat got in a fight. And I eventually, agreed that, hey, you guys obviously agree to disagree with one another, but you know that I'm your friend because I stood behind you. And I stood behind both of them because I think that's what friends do. And also, friends don't take beef, or people shouldn't take beef out into the community and display it publicly when we have a community here that is trying to market a product or market a community, because cryptos need a community to talk about them. We can't advertise and get people to buy them on the cable news. We can't. That's not how it's done. It's done with a community, and we're a strong community, and we need to get better at that. And we need to quit it with the beefs and the personal things and the poking sticks in each other's eyes. Let each other talk, have discourse, which is why this stream, this whole channel is named what it's called, Discourse Syndicate. Look it up and look at what each word means. There was a reason for it being chosen this way. And we all are very, very smart. When you sit down, if any of us here sat down and had a conversation, we would agree on about 90% of the things that we all believe in. There's about 10% of the dogma bullshit, politics, sports, religion, whatever, all that stuff that we all disagree on. And that stuff we can all just agree to disagree. Let's believe and help and inspire the 90% that we all agree upon and work in that direction versus poking sticks in people's eyes and making this community look bad. That's the message I'd like to get out there to everybody.
It's a good message, Captain. I think we all agree that the Earth is flat and nothing else really matters. Move forward from there.
Oh my God! Don't go.
Where's the titanium moon, folks? Where's my titanium mooners?
Yeah, that's the thing is you can find strength in another person if you look for it. You can find merit to comment about, and if you're going to share something, sharing that in public, you don't have to be Pollyanna and sycophant. Simp to people, but like if you honestly find some merit because you're looking for it, talk about that part. And if you have something that you don't like, there's about 10 different ways to reach most of us that are public figures. Hash it out with that person. What I don't like is when those things go first to Twitter, you find out a day or two later that people have been talking for a thread that's a mile long about something you weren't even aware of, and how someone got slighted over some personal, turn of a word or phrase or whatever. Like that doesn't promote that person. It doesn't promote the person you're trying to target. It doesn't promote the community. All it says is Hexicans are toxic. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything else. So like your intention to save people from whatever blight you think a person is inside the community or whatever harm you think that they're going to do down the road, you're probably doing worse by being a poor leader. Leaders usually praise in public and admonish in private. That's usually how they function.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, in fact, I believe in this community with guys like yourself and RG, etc., that we do have that, but the rest comes along with it, and it makes a lot of noise, and a lot of noise in the crypto community is very important. And one thing that the Hex or PulseChain or whatever the fuck you want to call it community does is make a lot of noise, and that's why I was inspired to start streaming myself, was because I wanted to add one more bullet to that gun. Do you know what I mean? It was nothing to do with creating any kind of popularity. It was just well, what else can I do? What can I do to add something to this community and what we're doing? Do you know what I mean? Be it controversial or whatever, it doesn't matter. I just want to add another bullet to the gun And man, this community makes the most noise. Like it's provable in statistics. It's like it's so strong. It's
I'd
so great.
like to say I also agree we should all be much kinder and nicer to each other, you know, on Twitter and stuff.
Says the
But-
memer.
That's life.
But but
That's life, man.
but hold on, DG. Anyone that goes on Twitter and just sees two random dudes arguing and decides not to invest, you gotta admit they're a little bit of a weak bitch, and they probably don't deserve the gains.
Well, it's not about two people arguing. It's about what the argument is about and how that person is being traded for their comment, argument, like of another product. I mean, we literally see somebody saying they like a certain product and people attacking them and creating drama over somebody talking about another product just because they were in it. It's almost gang mentality. You know, it's like, how is that even
It is gang mentality.
conducive in
Tribalism.
this environment? And a lot of times what I see is, you know, most of these people are trying to either compensate for something or feel good about themselves by trying to make somebody else look bad. And it's not a leadership trait. It's not a good trait at all to be, utilizing or just being a part of. But to see that constantly going on, I've been ghosted. It at first used to really bother me. Now I just kind of ghost it and go, hey, we've got to kind of sort and sift through the leadership here. We need strong leaders. We need people to help move this space. Obviously, crypto's full of that garbage. You look at people like Ran and the shows that they're doing and the stuff that they're doing. That's not the type of community we're building here. We are not the same. They are not the same type of communities we are. This is organic. This is something that is going to have to go through these growing pains. And when we come out of it, we will have sorted and sifted through enough people that we will have strong leadership here. We will have people doing things better. We're just going through growing pains right now.
Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, but Gary, I love you, brother. You know,
You're one of the best. Here's Sorry. You're definitely one of the best. I appreciate that people stick around. You know, we've been here 6 years, I think, whatever the time frame is. It's incredible. And you know, speculation is the game. If this was settled, if one said, yes, my side won, nobody would be here. Like the friendly competition, I encourage the friendly, right? It is what RG3 was saying earlier. Homeless guy, disheveled, stinky, handing you an ice cream cone, you're probably not going to eat that ice cream. So like it can be an amazing product, but the delivery or the person giving it to you does impress, you know, the receiver. So I appreciate everyone that's in this stream. It's a great stream. I definitely, every time that Briz wants to promote PulseChain, I promote PulseChain Hex. That's my favorite Hex. I'll say that for the same reasons he says, low fees. But like I want to support the brand, and the brand I think is universal.
Yeah, I agree.
And also I want to say, you know, RG3, you know, I love you too. You know, I told you to shut the fuck up. And,
you always tell me that.
Say shut the fuck up.
And lastly, Fast Abdul, fuck you, man.
All right, everybody, thanks for coming. Don't forget, we've got, now I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't say this. We got PulseChain Tour next week in Vegas. There's still tickets available. Go to pulsechaintour.com. All of the information is on the page there. Click the products you want to go and see and be part of. There's still a few tickets left for the seminar. Myself, freaking, what's his name? Donna, not Donovan. Oh, BitBoy. I keep wanting to say Ben. BitBoy's going to be there. We're going to have a panel together and get on stage and talk and see what he's really made of. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The party in Vegas is insane. So you guys got to get there. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll see all you. Thanks for participating, guys.
See you, Sandy B.